Ladies and gentlemen, my name is In the Game Kaya. Welcome to ITGK Survives ARK settings for 2025. Yes, 2025 is only a few days away as of the making of this video, and Extinction just dropped. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I did play test my settings. And I've added a couple of extra features and refined a few things. Mostly breeding and loot is what I've been working on over the last year or so. And if you've been watching my day-by-day series where I test all of these settings for myself, then you'll have seen them slowly evolve. You probably haven't seen much of the loot, though, because I only recently really got it tuned in when I started running loot in caves. But let's go ahead and go over these settings. So I'm going to explain all the settings here in this settings menu, and what you need to change and why it's set the way that it's set. If you want to know what each setting does individually, I have a video for you. It's on my channel. It's part of my ARK tutorial series, or you can check the card. It should be there. But let's go ahead and get into this, and then I will also explain the more advanced loot that I'm doing. And because you're going to have to set your loot one of two ways. So let's start here in Game Rules Player. The only thing I have is Health Recovery 2. This hasn't changed. It just helps you to, once you're out of battle, you just recover health that little bit faster. For creatures, Health Recovery 2. Same thing for them. They recover health that little bit faster. Harvesting damage is up to 4.3, and I think I've got this just about perfectly tuned. When you have a creature that's pretty high level, for the most part, it can one-shot a resource node. And that's exactly what I wanted. It makes farming very satisfying and easy, and so that's where I have it set. Honestly, you can't turn this too high. If anything, you're just going to start one-shotting everything, but it's not really that big of a deal. This is all normal. I do have structure placement collision disabled. In here, taming speed is 2, and harvest yield has gone from 2 to 3. Farming for some endgame materials just was taking a little bit too long, and it's the kind of thing that 3 isn't going to ruin the early game necessarily. A lot of people will play on 3, and 2 was okay, so between 2 and 3, whichever you feel. I ended up switching it to 3 once I reached endgame on the island, because it was so much grinding. I felt like I needed to speed it up a little bit. Max difficulty is on. We're playing PvP, not PvE, so we can grind our own dino eggs for XP. And unlimited respecs on unless you're on a server. For rules, this is all pretty much just personal preference. Use single player settings off, though. Make sure you do that. Now, in advanced, for PvE, I allow cave building and tribor. Tribor cancel. Flyer carry is on for PvE, so you can carry wild creatures with your Argents or whatever. PvP, this is pretty much the same. In the world, this is something that will be different this time. I actually ran the numbers, finally, and figured out how much longer ASA's day is than ASE's day was. And so I set it so this is now exactly as long as ASE's day cycle was. 1.89, 1.89. So it's going to be about 42 minutes of day and 18 minutes of night, roughly. Which is 60 minutes. It's like 59 minutes and 58 seconds is what it ended up being set to here. And some decomposition timers don't really matter much. Resource respawn interval. I turned this way down because I was grinding so much metal. I would go to one spot, take it home, smelt it, go and tame something, and then head back out for more metal, and the metal still hadn't respawned. So I go somewhere else. I go home, head back out. Neither of the metal spots had respawned yet. It's like, okay, whatever. So I just turned it way down. Who cares? Who cares? It still takes a few minutes to respawn, so you can't just endlessly grind one spot. If you are finding it that you can grind one spot too much, set it to 0.2, 0.3, but 1.0, especially I'm on multiplayer settings, so it takes even longer for it to respawn. It's just taking a while. Same with crop growth. This has it set so that crops grow at a more normal pace for not having a server running all the time. This mating interval says 0. It's actually 0.0009 because I can't get 0.0 to work. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just bugging. But I can't get 0.0 to work, so it's 0.0009. And that ends up being like 1 to 2 minutes between matings. Unfertilized eggs are laid twice as often. Eggs hatch 50 times faster. And babies mature 244 times faster. So this is balanced around 1 hour. 1 hour. The longest it takes an egg to become a fertilized egg to incubate is 1 hour. And the longest it takes a baby to grow from newborn to full adult is 1 hour. And so then this cuddle interval had to be set to, was it 5 minutes? Something like that. So you're going to have to seriously sit and baby the babies. But this allows you to actually get endgame creatures bred and a boss army raised in a reasonable amount of time. Because you're not going to be, unless you're leaving a server running, then you can set this to 1 and 1 or 2 and 2 or whatever. And make sure you scale the cuddle interval with that, because you don't want to sit there and do cuddles all day. But for the most part, this is assuming that you're not going to leave a server running all the time with creatures out growing overnight or whatever. Now, and even if you run a server, you can just cryo the babies when you're not growing them. Wild dino stats, all the same. Tame dino stats are all the same, except for speed has been reduced. Just because, you know, if you decide to turn speed leveling on, then it won't be quite as overpowered. Same for player. All the stats are 1.0 flat, except for speed, 0.25. The XP multipliers have been tweaked just a bit. Harvest is still 2. Explorer Note's 0.5. Boss creature is 2. Those are all the same. Tamed creature is 2. And then unclaimed creature kill is 4 now instead of 2. So it'll be that much easier to fully level your boss army up. And in the miscellaneous settings, we've got flyer platforms allow enemy and unaligned creatures to be affected by what's on the platform. Passive defenses hurt riderless dinos. So this just allows you to be very creative with the traps that you build and the structures that you make and how you use them and all that stuff. Raid dino feeding is on. If you're running a PvP server, turn it off. Otherwise, you should be fine. I turned the photo mode range limit up, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, you can just, you know, set that pretty high. We don't really care. I haven't noticed any performance drops, so. Custom recipes are normal. Here's the loot that I was talking about, and this was the biggest change that I made. This is assuming you're running my custom loot tables that are in the description. The custom loot tables still spawn the same loot items, but they spawn more items of a wider quality scale. So the scale used to go from 1 to 10. It now goes from 1 to 100. So this multiplier allows there to be a very wide range of things that will spawn, the quality of things that will spawn. And that, so you're gonna get some gray BPs, you're gonna get some green ones, some blue ones, purple and yellow ones. And you're still going to get Ascendant, but they're going to be far rarer than they were, and they're going to be weaker than they are. There's also attribute caps on those loot tables, so they cannot spawn at too high of a quality. So that's all in the description. If you're not going to run my custom loot, let's say you're playing on console, you don't have an easy way to edit your INI files, or you just don't want to bother, just set this to 0.8, and you'll be fine. You'll just continue to get the same kinds of loot. It'll just trim the top end of loot down, because the stuff that you can pull out of drops is absolutely insane, and it breaks the balance of the game. So that kind of tones it down a little bit. So yeah, if you're going to run my loot tables, 0.18, INI files in the description. If you're not going to run my loot tables, then set this to 0.8. All right. So I'm running my own loot tables, of course, 0.18. And then I don't have any engrams turned off. So that should be everything that you need to know. I did remove from my custom INI the option for the custom kibble system, because I actually turned it on one of my servers and was playing around with it, and someone was like, hey, this isn't working right, when they actually tried to craft this stuff. The recipe got bugged somehow, and it just wasn't working, so I scrapped that. At some point, if you guys are interested, I might rebuild the kibble system again, or at least try to. But as of now, you know, Ark's kibble system is fine enough, I guess. And that's what we're all used to anyway, so you just continue to use that. I'm sorry if it caused you guys issues. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a problem. But yeah, custom dino spawns, custom loot tables, all that stuff is all down in the description below, and everything is up to date for Extinction. Extinction loot tables are included in the INI, so you should be good to play on Extinction. I tested it, it seemed to be working for me just fine. I haven't had time to test it thoroughly, but Extinction just dropped, so I'm sorry. If you come across issues, let me know, and I will leave a pinned comment down below with any updates or things that you need to know. That being said, my name is In The Game Kaya. I hope I really helped you with this. I hope you enjoy these settings. I've got some good feedback on these over the years that I've done this. If you like this, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be up to date of when I ever update my settings. And hey, I'm about to finish the island for the first time ever. We'll be doing the tech cave in pretty short order here. So if you're interested in that, that will be coming on the day-by-day series soon enough. At some point, I will get to play Extinction. It's the only Ark map I've never played. Over 2,000 hours of gameplay, I have never played Extinction ever. So that'll be fun when I finally get around to that. But yeah, be sure to leave a comment down below. Give me any feedback. Hey, it's good. Hey, it's bad. Here's why. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Hopefully. Until then, goodbye.